Hi there, this is Kelly Leahy. I'm the tech coach at Collins Intermediate, and in this short video, I'm explaining how you can access your social studies textbook that is online if you're a fifth grader. This is for fifth grade social studies. So I've logged in. I'm going to find the app on my SSO page that says this, Pearson Easybridge. Next thing that shows up is a math textbook and a social studies textbook. So we're talking about social studies right now. So I'm clicking on this little tiny arrow. That drop down arrow leads me to my social studies book. So I'm clicking on that. Now, best practices says that when you're in Canvas and you find out what you're supposed to read in your social studies book, that you should write that down on a scratch sheet of paper or a post-it note, or in some way just be able to record that so that you don't have to flip back and forth between Canvas and your social studies book right now just to read the textbook. So I click on my social studies textbook, and now I'm in my table of contents. My table of contents is either thumbnail view, or if I click on list view, it's a list. So in my Canvas account, in my course for social studies, I'm supposed to read chapter 3, lesson 2, pages 130 to 134. This is just an example, so your actual lesson could be something else. I'm just using this as an example. So I go to chapter 3, and now I go to lesson 2. And in lesson 2, I'm going to skip this information here because my teacher just assigned to read the textbook. So that student e-text choice that's right here with audio, that's what you're going to click on. I'm not saying that you don't have a choice to do this. I'm just saying the first thing is to actually read. And then I choose open in a new window. And then it loads my textbook. So I'm in lesson 2, and across the top there's like a little guiding area. So it's lesson 2, and then there's these tiles or icons, and they have the page number. Well, my teacher said that I'm supposed to read starting at page 130 to page 134. So if I wanted to, I could skip this page. So I am going to skip it. I'm going to click on page 130-31. And here it is. I'm going to read this information. When I'm finished with this, I go to this page, and then I finish with this because she said to also read page 134, which would be this. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but you also have audio. So if you want to listen as you read, you can click the play button across the top of the page. Also, you've probably already noticed that you have some tools over here. If you'd like to underline or circle or maybe write notes, there's a text box that you can do that. And then when you do that, you can click on save, and the system will save your notes, which is handy. But even more handy, I think, is this icon right up here. It's the bookmark. So a lot of times we start working on something and then we get called away from our computer or our device. So if you are reading and then you realize it's time for you to do something else, like go to a Zoom meeting, or maybe it's time for dinner or lunch or something. So wherever you are, you can just come up here to the upper right corner where it says bookmarks when you mouse over it, click on it, and then it doesn't say that you have any bookmarks here, but if you click the plus sign, the system will add that bookmark. So let's say you have to leave. So I bookmarked page 130. I close this tab. I close this tab. I can actually even close this tab, and I'm back at my SSO. I log out, and then when I log back in later on in the day, I come back to my Pearson Easybridge. Oh, and it says I need to sign out and close my web browser for going to the product. Okay, I'm going to close out again. I'm going to refresh. That's that circle arrow. And now I'm going to come back to Easybridge. I'm going to refresh again. And now I'm back in my social studies textbook by choosing social studies, choosing my world social studies again, and then I go back to chapter 3. And watch what happens when I go back to chapter 3. I'm going back to the lesson that I wanted, and I'm going to have my bookmarks listed. So go to my e-text, open in my new window, and there's my bookmark. So I'll click and choose my bookmark. Now, eventually you could have a lot of bookmarks, and so you might want to get rid of them. So you can always go to bookmarks and then click on the trash can and then choose the bookmark you want to get rid of by clicking in the circle, making a check and clicking the trash can. And yes, it will remove that bookmark. So that bookmark will no longer be there. When you're finished reading, you can do whatever other activities. Maybe your teacher does want you to go back to Canvas and take a, do an activity or a quiz or something on Canvas, and that's great. You can still have, the bookmark, the social studies book open in one tab and your Canvas account open in another, and work like that. Thanks for listening.